Hey guys, this is Lynie at the Pinkhouse. You know I'm an insomniac, and I had a whole lot going on today, which is why I decided to do this live at 11 o'clock at night in the midst of me doing laundry and all that other stuff. And so I'm trying to bring up something that I needed. Let me see if I'm going to oh, here it is. And then if I can, there we go. Okay, so yes, I'm still live. I can see me. But I wanted to come on because one, this is part of my breaking news series, and that is I'll look for different topics or what have you that I think might be important to members of the Pink House and anybody out there. And when I found out that today, the 17th of February was National Random Act of Kindness Day or Kindness Day, as well as National Caregiver Day, I thought, oh, you know what? Those will be my first two topics on my Pink House Breaking News series. And so that's what the feature was for this series. And so I wanted to talk about both of those topics just a little bit to dive into it a little bit. It's a strange thing when you think you have to have a national day to be kind. Because as humans, we all share the same human experience in the sense of we're born, uh, we're raised, we have our struggles, we go through life or what have you. And the eventuality is death. And so, in between that process of birth and death, it's a whole lot of living that happens. And for many, it's not always positive, but it weathers us and makes us who we are, those experiences. And so, um, you know, but to think about, why should someone have to make a day to be kind? We should want to be kind to one another all the time. And so, that just really struck me as so interesting when I realized that today was National Kindness Day. Because I guess you can look at it one or two ways. You can look at it from that vein of, why should we be have to be reminded to be kind to each other? But then we can look at it in a more positive light of just really wanting to be kind, that we would even set aside a day to do random acts of kindness for each other. And so you can look at it either way. But the one thing I hope you do is to try to incorporate it more in your everyday life. Not just make it this annual event to, on this day I'm going to be kind. And so in thinking about that, I was thinking about what are some of the practical ways that we can be kind to one another. I'm gonna see if I can make this larger. Okay, so that is larger, that I can see it a little better, because I'm trying to see my screen. There's something that I typed up for today. And hello to anybody, to anyone out there in cyberspace watching. Yes, whenever you watch. Hello. So, and I was thinking, what are some practical ways that we can be kind to one another? And so, some of the things I thought about is, one, we could offer a greeting to a stranger, something as simple as a hello to a stranger, because you never know what someone is going through. And maybe that hello might reset or recalibrate the tone of the day that they're having. Maybe that's what they needed, is a stranger offering them a kind word or something. So you just never know. Another thing we could do practically is help someone carry their groceries, for those of us that can, or, like even in my situation, sometimes I'm out and about with a rollator. I could carry somebody's stuff even on top of my rollator if I'm pushing it. You just never know, because that one kind gesture could really, really make somebody's day. And then another way that I thought that we could be kind, especially to our young people. We want to be able to get on their level. And so one of the things that psychologists and individuals that deal with the study of adolescents and young people is, you want to really get down on their level. So if you're talking about your 5 and 6 and 7 year olds, you want to make yourself small, sit in the chair so that they might be the height of your chair, or, and that way you can get down on their level and talk to them. That's another way of being kind to our young people. And then, you know what? The simple act of practicing smiling, you know, it, there were various schools of thoughts when I looked this information up. So I went with one that I thought was a good medium, because I had numbers of all sorts, but it talked about how it takes 26 facial muscles to smile and 62 to frown. And so if you're using all of those muscles to be in a scowl or a frown all the time, you don't want those kind of wrinkles. No, you want to stay away from that. So you want to do the 26 um, for when you smile. And so that's another way that we can just show ourselves kind to individuals. How many times you looked at someone and they smile back at you? And that was just a pleasant gesture. So we want to practice smiling. And then the other way I thought about how we can be kind to one another is to tip a service worker. You know, um, People that deliver your groceries, people that deliver your food. Uh, when you get any type of, if you go inside of a restaurant, if you get some type of personal service like manicures, eyebrow waxing, and all of that type of thing, that's another way to be kind, because individuals that are in those trades or whatever, they often don't make a lot of money, and so they help supplement their income by living on tips. And so remembering to tip a service worker is another way to be kind. And then the other thing that came to my mind was giving a listening ear or shoulder to someone that's in need. If you have a friend going through something, or like I'm in several breast cancer awareness groups, and oftentimes you come across someone like myself just recently, because I was having a scare. I vented a little bit in the group, and so I got an overwhelming outpouring um, of responses from like over 350 plus women responded to my post. And so that was indeed acts of kindness on their part, to take the time to show me some encouragement, to stand behind me. And it really bolstered my spirit and made me really feel like I was capable of dealing with that circumstance, regardless of whatever the outcome was going to be. So just having a listening ear or a shoulder to someone in need. You don't necessarily have to know them personally. And so in that group, we don't know each other, all of us in different states or what have you, but we're connected because of that common bond. And when someone puts in that chat that they're dealing with something, trying to, or even if they just say, I'm venting right now, that network goes right into action to bolster that person up, to show them some encouragement. And so that definitely is a way that we can show kindness. And then another simple way, well, for some it would be simple. If they're cooks, you can cook someone a meal. That's an easy way to show someone uh, an act of kindness. And then the last thing I thought about was to help a friend walk a race. And I put a picture um, with my friends, my sister, and some of my friends when I first was diagnosed years ago with breast cancer, and we decided to walk the Susan G. Komen race for the first time. And so there was my girl tribe right there beside me walking the race. And so just little things that might not cost you a lot monetarily, but it might cost you some time. It might cost you some effort, some forethought. And so, in that way, it may cost you. And so, again, you know, we just want to be able to incorporate doing those type of things in our daily life, because people need kindness, especially if you're in the work world and you dealing with all types of personalities shoulder to shoulder. You want to be able to deal with some kind folk too. And so I thought, those were just some of the practical ways that we can be kind. And then the next day that this day was representative of, and that was National Day of the Caregiver. Sometimes we overlook or forget the caregiver, the person that's really going out of their way to take care of your loved one, to assist a family member who's dealing with something, or it could be a stranger coming into your home to assist you in taking care of a loved one. Sometimes we can tend to take for granted the effort and that they put into helping to care for our loved ones. And so, that's a very important role, that of a caregiver. And, they run the risk burning themselves out because not only are they caring for themselves, they're caring for their own family, maybe your family, or even if it's their loved one that has the health circumstance or the need. They're so focused on taking care of that person and making sure that they get their needs met, oftentimes they forget their own. And so, what are some of the practical things or ways that we could show our caregivers that they're cared for? Well, one of the greatest ways for your caregivers is everybody wants a spa day. You know, how about treating them to a gift certificate to get a mani and a pedi? Or a massage, anything, they go through so much and deal with so much. Or it could be something as simple as getting them an adult coloring book and some colored pencils, you know, to give them some downtime, to just have some relaxation for themselves, because everybody needs a respite, to take a break from whatever their schedule is when it comes to being a caregiver. Because what we found is that if the caregiver doesn't practice self care, eventually they're going to burn out. Eventually, they're not going to have enough steam to keep caring for the individual that they're supposed to assist, because they haven't cared for themselves as well. And so, those were the 2 days that February the 17th is. And that's why I wanted to come on and just say some things about that. Because, and one of the questions that I asked on my stories when I posted the thumbnail for this evening was, when can you remember your last random act of kindness? And I thought about that. And I mean, it could be as simple as assisting someone by doing their laundry, or like we said, cooking a meal, or making, phone calls. So many of our seniors today don't have family members that can help them when it comes to navigating some of these agencies, making phone calls. And so sometimes we can take that on. Like, if we know they need help with something, uh, getting applications filled out. Like for many of our seniors, especially since COVID, they may now have to require mobility. So we could get them an application to help them fill it out and get it processed so that they can be slightly a little more independent. Just a whole lot of little practical ways. And so I would challenge anyone that's hearing this to think of some practical ways that you can show acts of kindness and care within your circle. It doesn't have to be the things that I mentioned, but those are just suggestions, something to think about that you could then expand on and share with the folks in your area, in your circle, that need some caregiving or just some random acts of kindness. And so that was this, bringing this information for me. Was a random act of kindness for anybody that's listening, because you know what? Sometimes we just need to stop, take a pause, take a deep breath, and do that. Express um, our gratitude by showing kindness to other individuals, because it doesn't hurt. It can only benefit you in the long run. And so I just wanted to share that with you for my Friday segment. And that was one, remembering that today was National Caregiver Day and National Kindness Day. And so hopefully, not only was an act of kindness shown to you, but you in turn showed an act of kindness to someone else. And so, kindness begets kindness. And so I just wanted to share that with you all. So have a good night. And I appreciate you taking the time to see this, watch this video. And I'll see you again. Okay. Good night.